So through my workshops and through meeting people, they do often ask me, what do I need to be able to start shooting this style of underwater photography? So what Outex have done is they've actually created a package for me that actually encompasses everything from the camera side of things right through to the trigger side of things, to be able to have everything you need to get started shooting underwater portraiture. So a good overview of how I get the shots that I get and how you can get the shots that I get as well using similar sort of equipment is to give you a bit of an overview of two types of housings that I use. Now, I like to break them down into two categories. One is the soft housing and one is the hard housing. Now, with the hard housing, something like this, it is built for a specific camera. This is built for the Canon R5 and for a specific lens. So at the moment it's set up for a 16 to 35 millimeter. If I do change the camera that I'm using, I do have to basically get an entirely new housing. So that's one of the downsides of a hard housing. With the soft housing like the Outex, it is really just a soft shell for the camera. So it does handle and can take all sorts of camera shapes and kind of lens sizes as well. So between a mirrorless or a DSLR, it can take any of those sorts. It can take quite big lenses, it can take quite small lenses, all within the same package. So in terms of being able to have something that's quite versatile, this housing is really quite good at sort of giving you a good return on your investment. One that I prefer is one that has an actual cable port inside it as well. So what this means is that we can pass a cable through into this to connect to the camera, whether that's a cable to tether to the surface to plug into a laptop and see the images, or if it's to tether to your lighting to be able to trigger lights above the water. This makes it very versatile to be able to do studio style lighting, which is what I do. In terms of the gear that I use to actually do the triggering, so above the water is a radio trigger like this. So this triggers the strobes that are above the water. They're not waterproof strobes, they just stay above the surface of the water, and this radio trigger sets them off. It fires them every time I shoot the shutter. So how do we make this waterproof enough so that we're safe with it and we can be anywhere we want to without having to worry about how far away this is? So Outex have another housing for another product, which is for an off-camera flash. So this housing itself fits one of these. So this is just a normal off-camera flash that we use all the time. These are quite affordable. You can buy these from Amazon these days. So this housing can actually take this and put it inside. Now what that means is that you can actually take a light that you might already have, put it inside this housing, make this completely watertight, and take it under the water, and now you have an underwater light. The other side of this is that we can take this and actually put the cable gland in the bottom here. We can pass the trigger cable through, and then we can actually put the trigger itself inside this housing and seal it up. So now we have a fully waterproof radio trigger above the water. This is buoyant because you can keep the air in there, so this will float around the pool or wherever you are and still be able to trigger and still be totally watertight. So through my workshops and through meeting people, they do often ask me, what do I need to be able to start shooting this style of underwater photography? So what Outex have done is they've actually created a package for me that actually encompasses everything from the camera side of things right through to the trigger side of things, to be able to have everything you need to get started shooting underwater portraiture.